Ever had that feeling, that sinking dread when you think about a short-term rental going horribly, horribly wrong? Well, today, we're going to take a real-life hosting nightmare and turn it into something you can actually use, a playbook. We're going from total chaos to a step-by-step guide for getting back in control. And it all kicks off with this desperate post from a host on Reddit. You can feel the stress. The situation was already a total mess, but believe me, it was about to get a whole lot weirder. This quote really sets the stage for the high-stakes situation we're about to break down. So here's our game plan. We'll start with the nightmare itself. Then we'll dive into the guest's really suspicious claim. And after that, we'll walk through the host's first moves, the right way to respond, and the final, crucial step, how to disengage. All right, let's set the scene. And I want you to picture this because we are not talking about a few unwashed dishes here. This is a full-blown disaster zone left behind in someone's home. The damage was just staggering. It started with an unauthorized party, but it gets so much worse. We're talking about furniture being literally thrown off a balcony and then run over by a car. I mean, who does that? The damages were irreparable. And to top it all off, they just left the garage door wide open, leaving the entire property completely vulnerable. This is the absolute worst-case scenario. But, the chaos didn't stop when the guest checked out. Oh no. That's when things took a very strange turn. The guest made a claim that sent up immediate red flags for anyone who's been in this business for a while. So the guest starts messaging the host, right? Says he left a pouch and some glasses. Okay, that can happen. But then he says, I've got a tracker on it, and it shows the items are still in your house. The host, trying to be helpful, says, okay, can you just send me a screenshot of the tracker's location? And silence. Nothing. The guest completely refused to provide any shred of evidence. And this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? This is what just lit up the online forums. Because when a guest who just destroyed your property is this desperate to get back inside, but won't show you the simplest piece of proof, you have to ask yourself, what are they really looking for? The community of experienced hosts, well, they had a theory, and it was pretty much unanimous. This was not about glasses. The leading idea, summed up perfectly right here, was that the guest lost illegal drugs and was now trying to manipulate his way back into the house to find them. And then other hosts started adding these chillingly specific details. See, this wasn't just a random guess. They pointed out that the items he mentioned, a pouch, a glasses case, are classic ways to hide drug paraphernalia. Suddenly, this whole bizarre story starts to make a terrifying kind of sense. And this comment just cuts right to the heart of it. You take the destructive, totally erratic behavior during this day, and you combine it with this aggressive, weird claim afterward, and for anyone with experience, it paints a very clear picture. This isn't just a difficult guest. This is a potentially dangerous person. Okay, so that's the problem. A trashed house and a suspicious, aggressive guest who wants back in. Now let's shift gears and build the solution. It's time to stop reacting and start acting. This is where you build your defense. Before you even think about texting that guest back, there are two critical things you have to do immediately. First, you document absolutely everything. And second, you report all of it to the booking platform, whether that's Airbnb or someone else. You have to get out in front of the story. Now, document everything isn't some vague idea. It's a checklist. You need good, clear photos of all the damage. You need video walking through the property showing the condition. You need to screenshot every single message you've exchanged with the guest. And finally, write out a simple, clear timeline of what happened. This digital paper trail is your single most important weapon. So, your evidence is secure, the platform is in the loop. Now it's time to communicate. But listen, how you say something is just as important as what you say. Your response has to be strategic, professional, and designed to shut this whole thing down. This right here, this is the golden template. It's perfect. Let's look at what it does. It confirms you've looked, but it doesn't admit any fault. It states a fact, the items were not found. And here's the most important part. It pushes the guest toward official channels. It basically says, if your claim is real, you need to go to the police. That one move flips all the pressure right back onto the guest. And that brings us to a huge pro tip. You should never, ever agree to meet a high-risk guest alone. If they keep insisting they need to search the property, the only safe and acceptable way is with a police escort. It's called a civil standby, and it ensures your safety and immediately scares off anyone with bad intentions. So let's just quickly define that because it's such a powerful tool. A civil standby is just when a police officer shows up to keep the peace. They aren't there to decide who's right or wrong. They're just a neutral party to prevent things from escalating. And honestly, the mere presence of an officer is often enough to make a lying guest just disappear. So you can see the whole arc of the incident here. The guest creates chaos, then makes a false claim to try and get back in. But the second the host follows the playbook, documents everything, reports it, and demands official channels, the guest goes completely silent. Their bluff was called, they had no proof, and they certainly weren't going to file a false police report. So the guest has finally backed down, but there is one last, absolutely crucial step in this playbook, and that is knowing when the conversation is over. This is your exit strategy. You've sent your one clear professional message. You've offered the official channels. That's it. You are done. You do not get into a back and forth, stressful argument. You stop responding and you block them. Your job now is to work with the platform on the damage claim, not to manage this person's drama. And if you take away one single thing from this entire breakdown, please let it be this. A guest who behaves this way is not a customer you need to please. They are a risk you need to manage. That mindset shift is the absolute key to protecting yourself, your property, and your own peace of mind. By having a playbook, the lines between personal space and professional liability can get so blurry. This whole case study just proves that having a clear, unemotional, and professional protocol is the only way you can effectively protect both your home and your business from a true nightmare guest.